The Garden Report is brought to you by Prize Picks and the Game Time app.
Hey, Bobby Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report. Celtics finishing up practice, the first of two practices, 10 this week, and one of the last ones before opening night against the Knicks on Tuesday. Roster cutdowns due Saturday, and the Celtics don't have to cut theirs down at this point. They've already waived all their Exhibit 10 guys who started camp on the roster. We went through some of that news last night, so you can check that out over on Celtics All Access and get the full update. But Lonnie Walker remains. He practiced today, visible, getting a ton of shots up after practice. So he's still here, still competing, and by Joe Mazzulla's estimation, did a great job in his acclimation to the team and competitiveness toward making a case for that spot. Here's Joe today talking about
the deadline Saturday, but how did you feel about the preseason training camp he had here? How do you kind of feel about his chances making the roster?
He had a great training camp. I liked his attitude. I liked his work ethic. I thought he really got acclimated to our defensive system. And I thought he really worked to study kind of the offensive system and how to fit into that. So he took advantage of the time that he had, and that's really all you can ask for.
Positive review there. I did ask what he felt like his chances of making the roster would be. Mazzulla didn't respond to that part. And those discussions continue here at Auerbach Center right up until that 5 o'clock deadline on Saturday. Don't have an indication of which way it's going to go, as I've reported and said from the start. I don't think he's going to make the roster, not necessarily due to anything he did or didn't do. In fact, we've seen the work ethic and performances show his capabilities to this point so far, and he clearly deserves a role in this league somewhere, and roster spots continue to open up around the NBA. So will he still be part of the organization if he doesn't make Boston? Would he spend some time in Maine? I think those are the biggest questions right now, because we've talked about the $11 million hit. We've talked about the lack of playing time for him, at least as they're currently constituted, along with the potential needs that might arise in the front court, which is another reason that the Celtics typically like to leave that 15th spot open. So if I had to predict one way or the other at this point, I lean in the no direction, but anything's possible. You know, you still have things that can happen in terms of injuries or other factors that might arise even within the next day or so here. So there's no reason to wait. There's no reason not to wait right up until that deadline there. But again, if I had to give my sense of which way it's going to go at this point, I feel the same way now generally that I did at the start. So we'll have updates. We'll have another practice tomorrow, so maybe some indication around practice time tomorrow of which way that's going to go. And we'll react to it here on CLNS Media. We're brought to you by Prize Picks. Use code CLNS over there to get a bonus when you play $5. Go to the Game Time app. Use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase over there. Terms apply. And go to Nutrafol.com and use that code GARN for $10 off your first month's subscription, as well as free shipping over at Nutrafol.com. Code GARDEN. I'm Bobby Manning. This has been a practice edition of the Garden Report. We'll be back here tomorrow from Auerbach with more news, thoughts, and previews of this NBA season. So follow along Celtics All Access, CLNS.